Now on Coast TV News.
Frozen ferry. It's another day of travel disruption across the icy Delaware Bay. Plus, Maryland's district debate, the push to reshape Maryland's congressional map, and the lawsuit that could stop it.
Well, for the second straight day, we're above the freezing mark. In fact, 40-degree temperatures on the peninsula this afternoon, tracking a light round of snow tonight and another blast of Arctic air by the weekend.
This is Coast TV News Midday.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. Today is Tuesday, February 3rd. I'm Grace Eckerly and welcome to Coast TV News Midday. Starting off by taking a live look into Rehoboth Beach. The sun is shining, the waves are crashing. There's a chance of flurries in our forecast today. Turning now to First Alert Meteorologist Chris Mastrobono to hear more. Chris, you're saying the magic S word. Snow.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear that, right? Some people are tired of the snow and ice. Well, we're having a little chance tonight. Now we're dealing with little clouds that rolled over the area this morning, especially across the northern half of Sussex County, as well as the midshore. We've seen a lot of sunshine further to the south. We had a weak disturbance pass to the north, but our system is still back off to the west. We are seeing a few thin cirrus clouds here in Cambridge, 34 degrees there. But look at these temperatures. We're up to 40 in Ocean City, 38 in Salisbury, 36 in Georgetown, and we are at 38 in Lewes. Now, we are going to see a mix of sun and clouds through the afternoon. Then the clouds will continue to increase through the evening. After we top out around 40, we'll fall to the freezing mark around 7, and those clouds will continue to increase through the night ahead of that weak clipper system that will bring a light round of snow. I'll have the details on the timing, how much snow we can expect to see, and then a return of that Arctic air by the weekend. We'll talk more about it a little later on the newscast. Grace.
Thank you, Chris. Delta crews brining roads statewide today ahead of the light snow that's expected tonight. Brine, that's that salt liquid mixture that sticks to pavement better than rock salt and helps stop ice forming in temperatures as low as 15 degrees. Drivers are being asked to stay alert and give crews plenty of space to work. And the cold even keeping the Cape May Lewes Ferry from setting sail. The ferry announced even more cancellations for this morning's travel, as well as the 10:30 and 12:15 ferries, meaning operations have been canceled for several days in a row now. This is video on your screen now of the scene here. The bay completely frozen over, which is not something we see often. We spoke with the director of the ferry, who says that tugboats are now working to help out.
We had a shutdown in 2018. We were closed for about 8 days, and the temps were colder then, so we're hopeful that maybe it won't be like that this year, but we'll see.
The ferry says to continue to check its website and Facebook for updates as to when travel may resume. And this just in, Delaware State Police say a Selbyville man has been arrested for the murder of a family member. 28-year-old Jesus Palacio Hernandez was taken into custody after a 71-year-old woman was found dead in a ditch behind a Pinto Drive home after an overnight altercation. That area on your screen now, where police say he assaulted the victim and then moved her body to the ditch. She was later found by family members as troopers were responding to the scene. Palacio Hernandez is charged with first-degree murder and is being held on a $1 million cash bond. Happening today, Sussex County Council set to discuss a mega development that's looking to come to the Selbyville area, and this development would bring hundreds of units to the area you see on your screen now. Crosswinds LLC wants to change the zoning of land on Lighthouse Road and Dickerson Road from agricultural residential to an agricultural residential district residential planned community. The proposed development known as Crosswinds Landing looks to bring 352 units to the area. That includes 191 townhomes and 161 single-family homes, and that's according to the developer. And also at that meeting, a presentation and several grant requests. According to the agenda, the presentation includes the Opioid Settlement Distribution Commission. Some of the grant requests are the Eastern Shore Afram Festival asking for help with their Martin Luther King Day celebration. East Sussex Public Broadcasting says it needs new equipment upgrades, and Clothing Our Kids is seeking assistance with its Clothe the Child program. Sussex County Council met at 10 a.m. In the Maryland House of Delegates voted to pass new congressional maps. A commission appointed by Governor Wes Moore has released a concept that would change District 1, which encompasses the entire Eastern Shore, by merging in heavy Democratic areas from other counties. The seat is held by Andy Harris, the only Republican in Maryland's congressional delegation, and the issue still needs approval from the Senate. The state Senate president, who is a Democrat, has voiced concerns over the idea. Governor Wes Moore said in a statement, quote, "Tonight, the House took an important step to strengthen our democracy and ensure Maryland's representation reflects the will of the people," end quote. Now, here's what Representative Harris said a few weeks ago when the commission moved forward with proposed changes. Quote, "The Senate president calls it objectively unconstitutional, but that didn't stop Moore from trying to save his presidential aspirations. See you in court, Wes." Harris sharing a message on social media this morning, along with a selfie saying that he has filed to represent the Eastern Shore, Hartford, and parts of Baltimore County for another term. For more information on what this means for Maryland as a whole, head to the article that's on our website now, CoastTV.com. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem says all agents in Minneapolis will be getting a body camera. That's something that Democrats are demanding as part of the effort to reopen the government. NBC's Alice Barr shows us how this comes as House lawmakers worked into the evening to do just that.
The push is on today to pull the federal government out of a partial shutdown, with some federal workers furloughed once again. House Speaker Mike Johnson sounding confident he'll have the votes to change that.
We got FEMA and TSA and troop pay and everything else wrapped into this, so we've got to get the job done.
The House will be in order.
The House is set to vote today on a Senate-passed package that fully funds most of the government, but the Department of Homeland Security gets just 2 weeks of funding and a tall task in that time for lawmakers to negotiate reforms to immigration enforcement, with Democrats calling for dramatic changes amid unrest over the shooting deaths of Renee Good and Alex Preddy by federal officers in Minnesota.
The American people are correctly demanding accountability. The American people want to see the mask come off.
One demand already met as the Homeland Security Secretary announced body cameras for all federal immigration officers in Minneapolis, with plans to expand that nationwide as funding allows. President Trump backing the move.
They generally tend to be good for law enforcement because people can't lie about what's happening.
While also calling on both sides to pass the funding package with no changes and promising to work together to address issues raised. Though reaching agreement on the future of ICE won't be easy, with Republicans not backing down on their immigration crackdown.
If the Democrats want to throw out these ridiculous proposals that make it harder for ICE to do their job, that's just not going to happen.
The hope now to avoid a prolonged standoff. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Stay with us on Coast TV News Midday, because coming up after the break, oystering out of work. Why some watermen say the cost of going out can far outweigh any payday.
Taking a look at that snowy, icy landscape in Laurel, 34 degrees. Temperatures getting up to 41 degrees this afternoon, so that'll help melt some of that snow and ice this afternoon. Congratulations to Sharon Cross of Harrington, Delaware, winning an umbrella from Coast TV. We'll talk about a light round of snow tonight and then more Arctic air in that 7-day forecast.
A desperate search continues for Nancy Guthrie, the mother of renowned television journalist Savannah Guthrie. Nancy was last seen Saturday night near her home, and investigators now believe she may have been abducted. Homicide detectives were dispatched to the home where they found what they call, quote, concerning evidence. Law enforcement declined to say whether any of that evidence indicates whether Guthrie was hurt. In the Delaware DMV now warning people about a new text scam, fake messages claiming people owe money for traffic violations and urging them to click a link and pay by a specific deadline. The text often threatens suspension of car registration or driving privileges. And according to the DMV, these scams are designed to steal money and to gain access to personal and financial data. The agency says don't click on any links or provide any kind of information. Coming up next, let's take a live look into our Chris Cam. There's a chance of some flurries in our future. Your full forecast after this.
Well, up this Tuesday morning is treating you well. Del Marva, as we take a live look into Ocean View, the icy Indian River Bay there, and that has been the case for all our waterways across the peninsula over the last week as we've been in the deep freeze. But look at this, we're up to 40 degrees in Ocean View, so that is pretty nice, right? 36 in Milton, 35 in Georgetown. gives an indicator of how cold it's been that we're considering 40 mild here, but the winds have been relatively calm, so we get a break with the wind on top of that. So all in all, not too bad of a day. We had a few clouds roll through portions of Sussex County, northern Delaware, as we had some flurries off to the north, but we've been seeing plenty of sunshine to the southern reaches of the peninsula. And then here's our next storm system. You can see not a whole lot going on here. We have an area of low pressure right over to the east of west of St. Louis, and this moisture is going to push into our area overnight, bringing a light round of some snow. So today is definitely the pick of the week. We're in the 40s because we are going to see more Arctic air, unfortunately, by the end of the week, and that weak clipper is going to be pushing through while most of us are asleep through the overnight. So we're going to be in and out of the clouds here through the afternoon, and then we'll fall to 29 by around 10. So overall, pretty nice day under partly cloudy skies. We're at 40 in Lewes, 40 Seaford, to 40 in Snow Hill. So then there's that area of moisture I was talking about overnight. It's looking less and less impressive with the runs here, but we're seeing that light snow here through early tomorrow morning, and then it's offshore by about 6 a.m. I mean, we could squeeze out maybe a half an inch here if we're lucky. Isolated pockets maybe to the southern portion of our viewing area, around an inch, but I think most of the area is going to see a dusting, so you may have to brush some snow off your windshield tomorrow morning. 34 by the afternoon. We stay relatively dry, but below average through the rest of the week before our next system rolls in Friday. This is an Arctic front, so this front means business, but we could be dealing with another round of some light snow into Friday evening. The bigger story is going to be the return of the colder air, as we see that temperature fall back into the 20s for daytime highs. Sub-zero wind chills by Saturday night into Sunday. The winds are really going to begin to ramp up as we go into the weekend. So we're at 40 degrees today, 25 overnight with that period of light snow coating possible, 34 for our Wednesday. Mix of sun and clouds through the afternoon, only 30 on Thursday under mostly sunny skies, 35 into Friday with that late snow opportunity. And then for Super Bowl weekend, yes, going to need to make some chili over there on Sunday, 25 degrees. And then we're looking at mostly sunny skies into Monday with highs struggling to get out of the 20s.
I know you're excited for that Super Bowl food, Chris. And coming up tonight on DSN at 6:30, it's live Henlopen Conference boys basketball when Dover hosts Smyrna. Then catch the final score at 10:30. You can watch that basketball game on DSN Plus along with these exclusives at 4 p.m. Redline takes on McKean in girls basketball. The more boys basketball starting at 5:30. Pocomoke faces Mardella, and Cambridge South Dorchester is at North Carolina. And at 6 p.m. Seaford visits Lake Forest. And don't forget, the Super Bowl airs right here on Coast TV. That's Sunday, February 8th. Pregame starts at 1 and kickoff at 6:30. And then after all that coverage, stay tuned for Coast TV News. And here's what you can look forward to on Coast Life at 4 p.m.
Hope you're having a good day so far here along coastal Delmarva. And if you join us today at 4, here's what's coming up on Coast Life. Come hungry because we've got another delicious dish of the week for you. Also, it is Tuesday, which means we're going to be getting into a little bit more of our great debates. And we always want to hear from you. Plus, if you are a bride-to-be or you just have a dream wedding in mind, you don't want to miss the Bridal Expo that's coming to Ocean City. All of that and so much more is coming your way with Coast Life today at 4. We'll see you then.
Bitter cold and ice have shut down oystering across parts of the midshore, keeping boats tied to the dock and watermen out of work. In Cambridge, parts of the Choptank River remain frozen, making it too risky for many to head out, even if they wanted to. And watermen say this isn't just about the cold and ice. Between dangerous conditions and a tough market, the math doesn't always add up. And for some, the cost of going out can far outweigh any payday.
I'd rather keep my boat tied up in the slip and make $0 than untie it, trying to go make $350 and then tear something up that's going to cost $3,500.
With ice still covering the bay and no clear timeline for relief, watermen say they're watching the weather and waiting on help from the state. And growth on the coast, well, you know it's a big issue. We have growing pains because everyone wants to live here. But it comes at a cost. Roads, infrastructure, development, a loss of open space, all that creates conflict and concerns. Coast TV News has investigated all the deep-seated issues that brought us to where we are today. And on February 4th at 7 p.m., join us for a 1-hour special to help you understand the price of paradise, growth on the coast. The Salisbury Zoo is welcoming some colorful new additions. Check out these guys, Natasha and Clint, now on display in the zoo's newly renovated indoor rainforest habitat. The zoo says they're relatives of the toucan bird species, and it marks the first time that they're getting care at the Salisbury Zoo.
It came from a zoo, 2 different zoos, one in Texas, one in New Jersey. Again, this is part of a cooperatively managed breeding program, so we are recommended to breed, but that's up to them if they want to.
Once renovations are complete on the outdoor rainforest habitat and the weather gets a little warmer, the birds will be visible outside at the Salisbury Zoo.
Everybody's waiting for that warmer weather, even the birds. As we take a live look into Milford, we have some overcast skies there, 35 degrees. Nice afternoon as far as the temperatures are concerned, upper 30s to lower 40s across the peninsula. You can get your latest forecast by calling our First Alert Weather phone. Your 10-day forecast is up next. Well, not only are we above the freezing mark for the second straight day, but we're in the low 40s, so that is certainly nice. We're at 42, Salisbury, 41, Ocean City, 39 in Lewes. Now, we are tracking a few light snow showers overnight in through the day, at least the early morning of Wednesday. It's going to be out of here by the time you wake up. 30 on Thursday, and then another round of some light snow Friday. That's associated with an Arctic front. And then look at the weekend. We're back in the 20s. Overnight lows in the single digits. But the good news is this is not an extended stretch of Arctic air. We're back into the mid 40s by the middle part of next week. Grace.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for joining us for Coast TV News Midday. For more local news and weather, you can download our Coast TV News app. And don't forget to join us back here for Coast TV News at 5 later this afternoon. Until then, have a great Tuesday.